Hi everyone, I'm KS Lewis. Welcome to Love Dish, where each week we infuse the richness of love and relationships with the goodness of great food. So, how many of you have experienced the whole relationship cycle of breaking up to make up and then making up to break up again? Well, guess what? It can go on for days, months, even years. But tonight, we're going to learn how to let it go, because sometimes those situations can be toxic, right? Well, I have licensed marriage and family therapist, CEO, and author Tariiq Walton with me tonight. And he's going to talk about best ways to grieve a relationship and how to let it go. So come right back with us and be ready to take some notes.
Sit right here, my dear. Come on, baby, open up about your fears. Let's talk about love, laughs and tears. I hope that I make it clear for you, love, I'm here.
Baby, just show me your heart. You know that this could be the very start of something wonderful, so incredible. Just the right amount of flavor makes this a dish we both can savor.
Let's bring together these ingredients of joy and laughter, so we can make this love dish. We can make this love dish.
I'm KS Lewis with my special guest tonight, Tariiq Walton. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you for having me, Kay.
I'm just really excited about our conversation. I'm more excited about the food.
We have some good food on tap.
Yes, we do.
Mm-hmm.
But I want you to have a chance first. I mean, you're an author, you're a CEO of a company, you're a therapist. Tell us a little bit about who you are, what you do.
Everything you just said.
Right.
We have that. But yeah, I'm an author. I think my first passion is writing.
Okay.
I've been writing for over 20 years. And, while I've been writing and exploring out there and talking to people, I've kind of fell into this whole relationship thing. Where I would be out writing and people would see me writing and they say, what are you doing? And once I told them that I was a writer, for some reason people have to share their stories.
Oh.
And over again, I kept on hearing the same kind of relationship issues.
Yes.
And I found myself giving the same kinds of advice and thoughts and just different ways to approach things, trying to get people to change their perspectives. And I figured, let me just sit down and write this out. I get tired of talking about it, so let me just write it out.
Right.
And so back in 2005, I did about 6 months of research, just interviewing folks. Mm-hmm. And in 2006, I wrote It's Just a Damn Date.
I love it. And so Just a Damn Date was your first book, but you have many.
Well, I had, my first novel came out in 2004, Broken. In 2006, It's Just a Damn Date came out. So that was my second book out, my first relationship book.
Wow. And so how did Just a Damn Date kind of shape what you do now?
Oh my gosh, it just set me off on a whole other path. From that book, I left my job so I can just sell the book full time. Mm-hmm. So I was out on the block, really selling
making it happen,
hand to hand. And I ended up running into people that would tell me about different opportunities. Yeah. So in September 2006, I started hosting my own relationship forum, a weekly forum called Touch Me Tuesdays at this cafe in Mount Rainier. That's right, touch me. In Mount Rainier, Maryland. Did that for about 2 years. Okay. And then I started co-hosting a radio talk show for about 8 years. Wow. Beginning in 2006. That was every weekend, every Saturday.
Oh my goodness.
For 4 hours. So we talked about everything.
4 hours.
4 hours.
Wow.
But I had about a hour-long relationship segment, also entitled Just Damn Date. Right. And it just kind of spiraled from there, doing, discussions with other groups and having opportunities to speak in different university settings and do lectures here and there. And then I decided to go back to school so I can become a therapist and actually help people.
Yeah, I think that's so awesome. You're going to help me out. You see, I have on my black today because...
Look
as I
good,
said,
girl, too. Work it. Work it, Kay.
Thank you.
Okay.
But, in the beginning, I said, sometimes, toxic relationship, whether it's a toxic relationship, it could have ended on a good note, bad note, and a middle road note, doesn't matter. Mm-hmm. But sometimes we have a tendency to just drag it out. Yes, so I got my black on. We're going to grieve. You're going to teach me how to let it go today. I'm letting all y'all go, just so you know. Okay.
She's not going to let all y'all go. Y'all ain't going nowhere. She ain't going nowhere.
You're right. I'm going to keep one or two of you. But also, I want to make sure that you give us an idea of what you're cooking today.
Well, one of my specialties is talking about some of my first passions. I've been cooking since I was 6.
Wow.
And so,
okay.
my first dish was like pancakes or something like that.
It's a good dish.
And so I've evolved, over the years, and I learned how to make. I've always really been into soul food and pasta.
Okay.
And I would combine, Italian food and soul food. Mm. And so what I want to do today is do my stuffed ravioli with portobello mushrooms and Alfredo sauce.
That sounds so yummy.
Oh, it's rich,
I can't wait to eat it. I mean, we have.
It's quite dangerous.
Oh, it's dangerous.
Oh, it's dangerous. It's dangerous. So lactose intolerant people out there, make sure you go get your own lactate. I'm telling you right now, it's rich.
Oh, it's that dangerous?
Yeah, it's that kind of dangerous.
I totally understand. Well, I see some of the ingredients here, so I'm excited. We are going to head into the kitchen because it's time to get those pots moving and grooving, and we'll talk a little bit more about relationships while we're in there.
Sounds good to me.
All right. Well, meet us right back in just a moment on Love Dish. Welcome back to Love Dish. I'm K.S. Lewis with Tariiq Walton. He is going to cook for us, so tell us again about the dish, about the ingredients, and then what you want me to do.
All right. So what we have today is portobello stuffed ravioli. And we're going to use and make an Alfredo sauce, and we're also going to, kind of embellish a little bit with more portobello mushrooms and onion sauté.
I'm so excited.
Yes, and my
mouth is watering.
Wait after you taste it. Yes, it's one of my specialties here. Okay. And so what we're going to do is start off. We want to start off by cutting up the onions and the mushrooms. Let those sauté while the water is boiling, which it already is. To add the fresh stuffed portobello ravioli. And so while those two are cooking, we will prepare the sauce, the Alfredo sauce, which is very simple. You have a little garlic, fresh Parmesan cheese, a little bit of heavy cream, and a touch of other seasonings as well.
I'm excited.
Put it all together a little bit, and you're gonna fall in love.
Yes,
just absolutely fall in love.
Just smelling the onion and seeing mushrooms, especially portobello mushrooms, are one of my favorite. I love all of this, so I'm really, really excited. My mouth is already watering.
Yes.
So let's get started.
All right. So first, let's cut up the onions.
And you're pretty handy there, I see, with that knife, sir.
Oh, ma'am. I've been doing this for quite a while. Maybe not taste myself and end up cutting myself here, but yeah.
Yeah, please don't do that. We don't want you to cut yourself.
Yeah, we don't want that today. So just cut up the onion. Just, they don't have to be tiny, tiny pieces. Just want to be smaller. So don't, choke on you eating it.
So rather small pieces of onion. Right. And then you said you're going to saute the onion, right?
I'm going to saute the onion.
Okay. And then you also, what do you do with the mushrooms?
Same thing. Saute the mushrooms and onions. Usually I'll start the onions first. Let them cook down a little bit, brown a little bit, then add the mushrooms. The mushrooms cook very, very quickly.
Okay.
So that takes no time at all. And then just let those cook together.
Okay, all right. Well, while you're cutting up the mushrooms, I'm going to ask my first question. So we're, of course, we're talking about, when it's time to let go in a relationship. He's so handy with this knife.
Only while cooking. Only while cooking. No.
Thank God.
Yes. As far as
but, why don't you tell us, though, have you ever had issues yourself with letting go?
Oh, of course. Of course.
Right.
What happens, I think, when you have been in different relationships and you really begin to discover the things that you enjoy about individuals and the things that you learn and find out, it's really hard to let go of those things when you realize how important they are to you.
Right.
Especially when you don't find them in many different people.
Right.
And so, there have been situations where I'll meet someone and say, the relationship isn't going to progress the way I want it to, but because they have those qualities that I haven't found in other people, you just kind of hold on tight to that.
Right.
Even to the point where it's like, okay, I'm not even interested in anybody else, even though we're not working out.
So what are some things that you did specifically that helped you kind of break free rather from those issues?
I think it was acceptance is a big thing. Realizing that, you can get to a point of obsession almost where it's not healthy anymore. For not just you. You understand people are going to hurt you. But when you begin to hurt yourself and pursue something that's no longer for you, you have to accept that, okay, it's time for me to step away.
Yeah, that's important. I mean, I think a lot of us can probably think of different instances where, we've really cared for someone, but our habits change and things that we're doing just don't resemble a healthy person.
Oh, not at all.
Not at all. So as much as, like you said, as much as you care for that person, as much as you want to keep it going, as much as you, enjoy whatever that feeling is, the end result pretty much is that you have to let it go. So I can appreciate that. So I'm gonna just turn this pan around for you and get it going. You keep cutting. You keep cutting. I'm supposed to sous chef for you.
And I appreciate that. So why don't you go ahead and get that pan so you came for me. Appreciate that.
I will. So we're gonna I'm assuming you're just gonna saute, right? Okay. I'm gonna just reach right around. Do you want all of this or just a little bit?
Just a little bit. We don't need to. You don't need to use a lot of oil.
Okay.
And usually, I'm actually changing from olive oil to using coconut oil.
Oh, yeah, I like coconut oil.
And it's just a healthier substance to use, and there's some things about olive oil that you really don't want to use in cooking too often. So
about 1 or 2 tablespoons.
I would say probably about 2 tablespoons.
Okay.
And so let that heat up, and as you can see, everything else is already cut up and ready to go. And so right now, we're actually only using 1 package of the Portobello stuffed ravioli. What's going to happen is actually going to, as it cooks, it'll expand.
Okay.
So these little things that you see right here right now, they'll be a little bit bigger.
These little things right here.
They will be a little bit bigger. So you don't have to worry when you see the package and say, well, that's not going to feed a family of 4. Well, it probably won't. But it may feed a family of 3.
Or it might feed a couple.
A couple, exactly.
On that, this is our last meal together.
Goodbye meal.
This is the goodbye meal.
And that's when you show off. So you make the best meal for the last meal.
Yes. So here's a secret. I'm getting ready to tell everybody the secret about me. So when I'm dating someone, don't judge me.
No judgment zone here.
So whenever I'm ready to let it go, we go out and I pay for the meal.
That's the way to know. Everyone hears that, right?
Right.
If Kate's paying. So hold on, what about the
prior? So
what about the prior meals? Are you not paying?
I may pay, but you can tell.
So now the person can always be on edge whenever you pay. Oh, I got this, baby. Don't worry about it. Are we breaking up?
No, I mean I think you can kind of tell when it's getting to that point where it's time to part ways.
Right.
And so if it's shaky already and I've already made up my mind, get what you want, baby. Oh, go all out. Yep, you want the lobster? Go for it.
So
I'm paying tonight.
When do you know it's the last time? When do you know it's time to wrap this up?
I think for me, specifically when I don't feel like myself. When I can't be comfortable being myself, or when I feel like I'm not growing as myself or growing with that person, then I start kind of reevaluating. I start kind of reevaluating whether or not, it's healthy, whether or not it's fruitful. Because to me, if it's not fruitful, if it doesn't have any kind of chance to grow, then it's not really, it's pointless.
Yeah. Growth is key. If you feel like, as you can see, we're about to actually put the pasta in. The pasta only takes about 5 minutes to cook when it's fresh pasta. So just gonna drop a little bit in there, right there. Let it cook down. Sometimes I add a little oil to that as well, just so that
you want to just put a touch in there?
Just a touch in there, so it doesn't stick together. And we are going to begin the sautéing process here. Let's see if it's
just gonna sauté the onions and the mushrooms.
It's still not quite.
Let's turn it up a little bit. Okay.
But that smells good.
It does, doesn't it?
Yes.
I love the way fresh onions smell. Yeah. I think really like onions with any dish smells delicious. I would probably eat anything with onions.
Onions and portobello mushroom go on almost everything I make.
Really?
Oh, I mean, my eggs in the morning.
They steal my heart.
Yeah, I mean, it's constant. These are staples in my house.
Mine too.
So we'll put the onions in here. That's that sound I love.
So good.
We'll save the mushrooms.
Okay. So really, you just want to give the onions a minute to saute and
soften
up, get a little translucent.
Right.
Okay.
We'll save that for now. Get a little salt on the flour. I also like to season the veggies by themselves.
Okay.
First.
You like that nice little
Yeah.
fresh pepper there.
Yeah, fresh pepper. Do the same thing with salt too.
So while you're seasoning the onions, oh, it just smells so good. So what is the I know you asked me like when do I think it's time to walk away, but I mean you're a therapist, so what's the actual proper time to what's the proper amount of time to grieve a relationship?
Oh, that can take years.
Okay.
It can take years. It's all about your process and the way that you actively let go.
Okay.
I think what happens is people get stuck in this rut of just being miserable and focusing so much on the pain than not focusing on the healing and the actual letting go. And understand that there is a process to letting go of things.
Right.
And you have to walk in that process. And so sometimes it's about, really taking time to reflect and not just focus on the pain of what happened, but begin to appreciate the lessons you learned.
Oh yeah.
And so once you begin to appreciate those lessons, it starts to separate you from the pain.
Okay.
So the focus is different. So you move further away from the pain with that. Then as you begin to learn the lessons, you begin to realize who you are now. Because after you've been in a relationship, you change, you grow.
Right.
Hopefully, you grow.
Hopefully.
And so it gives you time, you want to take that time to kind of reflect on who you're becoming, who you become, and who you are now without that person. When you are with someone, you're that couple, you become that couple, you kind of become really invested in that. And so you want to...
He's a real chef.
I just showed off a little something. Showed off the cameras. And so, now that you're beginning to understand who you are, and now who you are without that person, who you are by yourself, that's that work.
Right.
Really being conscious of who you become, and moving further away from that person and the memories of that person. You're never gonna forget that.
Right.
There's
some I want to forget though. Like
and you'll repress them.
Okay.
You'll repress the memories. You won't forget it, but you will repress the memories. Let's go ahead with the mushrooms.
Okay. Do you need me to
Yeah, could you stir the pasta over there?
Yeah.
Make sure it keeps everything separate.
Yeah.
And so go through your reflection. Think about the things that you've learned, and begin to just really discover who you are now.
Reflect.
Accept.
Accept.
How about this? Accept, reflect, release.
Accept, reflect, release. I love that. So for all of you out there that are just sitting around eating your pints of ice cream or your half gallons with your fuzzy socks, watching Netflix and crying, accept, reflect, and release.
And crying is good.
Crying is good. I love a good cry.
It's good to release that way.
Right? I love a good cry.
But just don't stay crying.
Don't.
Find some joy in the change.
That's so true. It's funny. I have all these rules.
Oh.
May not be healthy, but I do. You can help me get over all these rules, right?
We'll break them down.
So I don't allow myself to grieve over a relationship more than a week.
Okay. And why is that?
Well, because I just think it's a waste of time. Like, I got things to do.
Right. Cool.
So unless it's something that's been just like super traumatic and I got to give it a little extra time,
right.
I do try to just, allow myself to eat the ice cream. Well, I don't eat ice cream, but, drink my wine. I love fuzzy socks, so I'm always going to have those on, whether I'm happy or sad. Wrap up in my blanket and just stew for no more than a week.
Okay.
But then after that, I gotta go. I gotta get up. I have to keep it moving.
But
is that healthy or no?
Well, it depends on the emotional investment you had in the relationship.
Okay.
If you weren't deeply, invested in the relationship at that point and it ended, then there's no need to, take a long time to grieve. But if you guys have been together for years, you guys have made plans, it may take more time.
Right.
You know, so it's not a process that you want to rush, because the worst thing that can happen is that you think you're over it, you get into a new relationship, you carry all that baggage
that's so true.
back into this new relationship.
Or something triggers it, right?
Yeah, something triggers. Yeah, okay. Triggers are big. You know,
so I wanna get back to, I want to talk about triggering things that trigger those repressed memories in just a minute. But first, let's take a commercial break. So we have the onions and the mushrooms going.
Can you smell it out there?
I wish you could smell it, because it just is wonderful. We have the pasta going, and we will come right back with Love Dish, and we'll bring it all together. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Love Dish. We have been talking about moving on. You told me that I need to accept, remember, and release.
Accept, reflect, and release.
I'm still messing it up.
Remember, reflect, R's, the big R words.
Accept, reflect, and release.
Yes.
We have put together the most amazing dish, and we are going to bring it all together now. Yeah. But I want to ask you before we get started with that. So there's an old saying that the best way to get over someone, normally, somebody, but I would say is to be with someone new or someone else. So, is there truth to that?
Not at all. Not at all. Not at all.
You didn't even let me finish.
No, wrong. Oh, wow.
So that's not a healthy way to move on at all.
At all. It's a good way to forget in the moment.
Okay.
But kind of like we said before we went to break, that what happens if you don't take the time to kind of get over what you've been through, and take the time to just reflect and learn. You can bring a lot of that same energy into your new relationship. You know, you mentioned, having different triggers. Right. What if you haven't taken the time to realize that the things that one person was setting you off is in everyone? And so now you're with someone else and you see a similar behavior to that last person, and you haven't taken the time to realize, okay, well, maybe that's just, a normal person thing.
Right.
And now that's setting you off. So now you have all these red flags going off. Oh, this reminds me of the last person. Well, it might, but that may not be that big of an issue. That's why you need to take that time to just really get back into yourself, discover the world around you before you jump into something new. The last thing you want to do is drag somebody into the drama you had to let go of before.
Oh, that's good. You don't want to drag someone into the drama from before. You need to identify your triggers.
Definitely identify your triggers, right.
And I have another story.
Oh, of course you do. Come on, okay, let's hear it. Let's all hear it.
So I was dating someone very briefly, and it was very, very new. And I realized there was something he was doing that was a trigger, but at the time I didn't realize that that's what it was. And so I think he was like on his phone doing something. And it just took me back to a place where I was like, what are you doing? And I can be a little bossy, just a little bit.
No, not fair.
But before I knew it, I was like, no, it's done. It's done.
Right.
And it really, when I reflect, it was me. It had nothing to do with that other person. And
it's
so
it's not fair to the other person.
It wasn't fair to the other person. Now when this person sees me, he is like, whatever, kick rocks, girl.
Yeah, she's the crazy one. You're the crazy one. And that's one thing you don't want to do. You don't want to appear to be the crazy one because you're overreacting to a situation that has nothing to do with the other person. Like, it has nothing to do with me.
Right.
Oh, you're nuts. I'm out. So, yeah.
That's so true. But, it's interesting because now that I do take the time to identify what's you and what's me, and then move past that, I can say that the breakup is a lot smoother process if it happened. I mean, I am single. I don't date yet. No, he can cook. He can cook.
Let's say you're single, but you don't date?
I mean, I date, but not like that. Not regularly.
What's that?
So
explain to the audience.
Okay, so maybe I should say instead of I don't date, I'm not in a relationship.
Okay.
I'm very, very much single at this time in my life. Not that I'm not open. I'm very open to dating. But I'm busy.
I understand that.
And then I think it's really difficult sometimes if you've been through that cycle of break up, make up, let go, break up, make up, let go again. It's hard to make that space, to be open, to figure out whether or not you're going to be in that cycle again.
Let me just say this way. I have my own story, okay? Let me tell you this one.
Oh, let's hear it.
So back in 2008, I was in a relationship and it didn't work out.
Okay.
2009, I'm really heavy into, I think I was at the time trying to get my TV show going. I was still doing a radio show. I stopped doing the discussion forum, and I had my 4th book coming out. And I remember talking to a friend of mine just saying, where I am right now with everything that I'm doing, I don't have the time to really be in a relationship. It wouldn't be fair to bring somebody into this with how hectic things are for me right now. And so that was on Thursday. That Saturday, I met the woman I was married.
Wow.
You know, so no matter how busy you are, if the right person's there at that time, you'll find a way to make it work with them.
You'll find a way to let it all go.
You'll find, or you find balance. You find balance. You find a way to balance the thing that you're doing and trying to grow with someone else. You know, so never cut yourself totally off. I mean, you, like I said, we need time to heal. You do need time for yourself. Don't let anyone rush you into doing something because they think you're miserable. No, take the time that you need, but at the same time, be open to whatever presents itself.
I love that. I love that. Well, I'm going to give you a chance to actually kind of close up what we made here. Let everybody see the final product.
Okay. So what we're going to do first is we're going to bring in the fresh pastas all cooked up. Make sure we don't make a total mess in it.
Okay.
So take it out of the counter.
I got people that can clean that up.
That's right. I know you do. She got pimples. She got pimples. She got pimples. So we are going to put the pasta back in here.
It looks so good.
Yep. Get some
and it's all these little pieces of portobello mushroom that are just all over the place in there.
Right. And because we put the olive oil in there, the pasta shells aren't sticking together. They are cooked, and we let them cook for probably about 7 minutes. You just want to make sure that they cook thoroughly through. And as you can see, the shells have actually become a little bit bigger than they were when we put on when we first started cooking them.
They expanded.
They expanded. That's water. Welcome to science
class. Water and heat.
Science class. 1500. Then we will take the sauteed onions and portobello mushrooms, the baby portobellos, and we will drop that in there as well.
I could probably just eat a plate full of that.
This does look pretty tasty by itself.
And it smells so good.
Oh, I mean, the same dish, I'll take this and I'll add some spaghetti to it. Not spaghetti, I'll add some spinach to it.
Oh my
and
goodness.
I'll top it on top of some chicken breasts or chicken thighs.
Yes.
I mean, mushrooms and onions go with everything. Let me just say
They
right
really
now.
do.
At least in my world.
They really do. So I have one last question while you're putting this together. So how do you suggest that someone express themselves when they're facing the challenge of letting go? Because, you know, we talked about how they should reflect, we talked about how they should identify and let go of triggers, and how they really need to, you know, focus on that time to do that. So how, when it's time to let go, when it's time to have that difficult conversation, how should they express themselves in that moment?
First, I would say you have to be honest with yourself,
and
understand what you're doing and why you're stepping away. Be very clear about why you're stepping away. Don't make any false excuses to yourself, because all you're going to do is present false excuses to them. So first, figure out exactly what it is that you're doing and why you're doing it. But once you figure that out, you have to know your mate, the person that you're dating or seeing, and understand. And this may be one of the reasons why you guys are breaking up. Maybe a communication issue. But you do want to understand how they take in information. And so you want to, once you figure out or you understand how they take in the information, you want to be honest with them. You know, you want to be honest with them. You want to get them in a place where, you know, you can just talk and express yourself, and they aren't becoming defensive. And you don't become defensive too. And you just want to explain to them, look, this is how I feel. And one of the things we do in couples therapy a lot is teach couples how to express their feelings, not their thoughts. Don't blame, but just talking about things from an I standpoint. I feel this way. When you do this, I feel this way. So you're not blaming the person, but the person understands their role in making you feel a particular way. And so it's always about getting the other person to understand how you feel about a particular situation, so they can feel like they're involved.
And none of that simple, it's me, not you stuff. Because that's not helpful, right?
Not at all, because they need to grow too. They need to learn. They need to learn. They need to understand, you know, what their role is in things, and hopefully they can take that information and go into a healthy relationship themselves. But you
I
have
just
to be
want to
honest.
smell that.
Yes, this is the Alfredo sauce right here. The piece of delicious
Oh my
sauce.
gosh.
So what we have here is a little bit of butter, about a half a stick of butter, about a pint
Oh my gosh.
heavy cream, and about 8 ounces of freshly grated Parmesan cheese.
So for all of you out there that need to take your little, you know, help, the little pill, the little lactate or whatever it is you take that helps you with your intolerance issue, take it before you eat this dish, because this is homemade Alfredo sauce. It is cream, heavy cream.
Heavy cream.
It is the parmesan
cheese. That's right.
Oh my goodness.
So you
and
want
butter.
to get all and the butter. So don't forget all the butter.
And the butter.
So you want to make sure you get all that goodness out of there.
He got every drop out of this pan.
So get that. And so what I added too, I added just a dash of nutmeg, just a little bit. Don't do too much nutmeg, that will kill everything.
Okay.
Just a little dash.
Because nutmeg is strong.
Very, very strong. But so just a pinch of the nutmeg.
I love it.
And some more cracked pepper.
Okay.
And then you take it and you just toss it in there and stir it.
So we're going to give you a chance to plate it, and we will go back over to the table and close up everything. So come right back. He's going to plate this. Love dish. Oh my God. I can't even talk because this looks so good.
Just watering.
But guess what? We'll be right back. Welcome back. So now you see that we are here with the final dish. Oh my goodness. Tariiq, I cannot wait to dig in, but there are a couple of little housekeeping rules we got to handle before we get to taste it.
Let's hear 'em.
So I want you to please just let everyone know what you're doing now, where they can find you, how they can subscribe to any of the social media things that you have going on.
All right. Well, right now, the thing that I'm focusing on is building my practice. I have a private practice in downtown Silver Spring. It's entitled Insight Marriage and Family Therapist. You can go online to our website, www.insight, INSIGHT, MFT, Marriage and Family Therapy, .com. So again, insightmft.com. You can go to our website and find us there. You can also go to my website, my personal website, TariiqOmariWalton.com, or just TariiqWalton.com. It all goes to the same place. So right now I'm actually working on my follow-up book to It's Just a Damn Date. It's been 12 years, so it's time to come up with a new one. So I'm working on that right now. And I'm doing a lot of speaking, panel discussions and just staying busy, just trying to get the word out. Right now my focus is really on trying to get people to understand intimacy better. The four main areas that I'm working on are spiritual, intellectual, emotional, and of course physical. And so just trying to get the word out and getting people to be more understanding of how intimacy plays into relationships.
I love that. And I think we can all use a lesson on intimacy.
Oh, yes, we can.
Outside of the physical, because I think people get really caught up in physical, and then they forget that there's so many other layers to intimacy.
But even with just the physical part, it's not just sexual. You have to also understand that physical intimacy means cuddling, walking, hand in hand. It's just about sharing that space with someone.
Right.
It doesn't have to necessarily be sexual. And so, so we really want people to expand their understanding of intimacy.
Right. So, before we kind of close out, I do have one last question.
Uh-oh, here we go. What you got for me, Kay? What you got for me?
So, and I ask everyone this.
Okay.
What is your greatest hope for love?
It's funny. Years ago, I really had no hope for love. And that's one reason why I became a therapist. I felt like I didn't want to be the person complaining about where relationships are going and actually do something to help people with relationships.
Right. And
so now my hope for love is that people grow to have more compassion for their partner. Which you see a lot of times when people have issues in relationships, it's because they don't have a sense of empathy for what their partner's going through. They're so focused on themselves. But I believe the more that you can show compassion and feel compassion for your partner, the stronger your relationship will be. Understand what they're going through and how your behavior affects them, or how things outside of your relationship is affecting them as well. And really begin to work with them on that, as opposed to just worrying about your own feelings, and putting that onto them as well.
I love it. So, well, I just want to say thank you so much for coming and joining me tonight. I love having people come in my kitchen and of course cook for me.
Oh, of course.
But I mean, I tell you, this is going to be amazing. Thank you for tuning in tonight. Listen, if you go right now, I want you to subscribe to our YouTube page. It's KS Lewis Media. You can come back and see me every single Tuesday night at 8 o'clock. And if you look below, you'll see the recipe for tonight's dish, and you'll be able to comment below, okay? So let's dig in. I can't wait to taste it.
20 minutes, guys. It only takes 20 minutes to prepare this. You ready?
That's right. It really only took 20 minutes.
Let you go first.
Okay. I don't even know if I can fit it on my fork.
There's a
Let
lot
me just
going on
hold
there.
the plate up. This is so good.
That's love right there. See that? She just fell in love. That's what happened just there.
She had a little
Where's
bite.
my
She fell
ring?
in love. I haven't had my bite yet. We're working
But
on
you
that.
cooked it.
I know.
We go together. Listen, this is so good. Join us next week on Love Dish. Take care.
Sit right here, my dear. Come on, baby, open up about your fears. Let's talk about love. Laughs and tears, I hope that I make it clear. For you, love, I'm here.
Baby, just show me your heart. You know that this could be the very start of something wonderful, so incredible. Just the right amount of flavor makes this a dish we both can savor.